Hello, mathematicians. Today we see one more very interesting concept related to CSIR exams. Characteristic of a field. Okay, you can see many problems asked regarding fields, and they can be answered easily using the concept of characteristic of a field. Okay, so first I say what is a characteristic of a field, and then we solve some problems related to finite fields and infinite fields also. Now, uh, let's start. Let F be a field. So it is a field means basically it will be a group with respect to addition, and it will be group with respect to multiplication also. Okay. What is the definition of a characteristic? The characteristic of a field is defined to be the order of the element 1 in the group F comma plus. Okay. So every field has the element 1. Okay. 1 belongs to F always. Then only we because f comma dot is an abelian group, that means that it will have an identity element. That identity element is what we denote by 1. Okay, now this 1, it is an element of f comma plus is an abelian group, so we can talk about order of this element 1 in this group. Okay, now order of 1 can be finite or infinite. Okay, if I in if we consider a group, it's a and the element of the group, its order can either be finite or infinite. Accordingly, we define the characteristic. Okay, so the characteristic of a field means the order of the element 1. So before we go further into characteristic, briefly we see what is the meaning of order of an element in the group, so that it will be very easy to understand the notion characteristic of a field. Okay, so let G comma star be a group. We take an element A belongs to G. We say that order of A equal to n if you multiply A with itself for n times, you should get the identity element of the group G. Okay, this is the first condition, but there is one more condition, that is what is very important. Okay, what is the second condition? If you multiply A with itself for m times, you will not get identity for all 1 less than or equal to m strictly less than n. So this definition means that when you multiply A with itself for n times, you will get identity, but if you multiply lesser number of times, so this is 1 less than or equal to m strictly less than n, right? So if you multiply lesser number of times, you won't get identity. Basically, n, so you keep multiply A with itself, first time you get identity, that is what is the order of the element. Okay, so you are multiplying one time, that is A itself, you are not getting identity. You multiply two times, you are not getting identity. So up to n minus 1, you won't get identity. Only when nth time you are getting identity. So the least positive integer such that a power n equal to identity is what is we call the order of an element. So let's consider this group Z25 with respect to addition modulo 25. You consider the element 5. Okay, now this a power n is just a notation. Okay, a power n doesn't mean that a multiply with a n times. It means a power n means that whatever group operation is given, that operation you have to perform on a n times. Okay, so if the group is additive group plus, then a power n means that you have to add a with itself n times. Okay, so this is a very important thing in group theory. So here it is an additive group. So 5 power 0, we assume that in a group a power 0 is an identity element for any a. Now what is 5 power 1 is 5. 5 square means 5, you have to add with itself 2 times. So 5 plus 5. Okay, because a power n means a you should multiply itself n times. So 5 square means 5 you should add with itself for 2 times. So 5 plus 5 addition modulo 25 5, that you will get 10. So now 5 addition modulo 5, sorry, 5 addition modulo 25. So this 5 cube means that in this operation you have to uh, add 5 with 5 with 5 like that. Okay, so let me just write 5 cube means that 5 addition modulo 25, 5 addition modulo 25, 5. This is what symbolically we write 5 cube. So what is 5 cube is 15 in this operation. So 5 power 4 is similarly 20. 5 power 5 will be 5 add with itself 5 times, you will get 25. 25 is 0 here. Okay, therefore in this operation you have to add 5 itself or 5 times to get the identity element, and 5 is the first number, first positive integer, such that first time you get identity, and before this you are not getting identity element. Therefore order of 5 in this group is 5. Okay, so that is the definition of order of an element. It's the same definition we rewrite in additive group. So you take A belongs to G, we say that order of A equal to N if you should add A with itself N times. Now the operation is plus, so you have to apply the operation plus. Okay, but what is this? A added with A itself N for N times means that it is just NA. Okay, so A plus A is 2A, A plus A plus A is 3A, so if it is N times you get NA. So order of A equal to N if A added with itself A for N times should give you the identity element, that is 0. In the additive group the identity element is 0, and if you add it for lesser number of times, for 1 less than or equal to M strictly less than N, you should not get a 0. Okay, so basically in the additive group order of an element is equal to N if N times A equal to 0, but M times A is not equal to 0 for all 1 less than or equal to M less than N. Okay, so the same one definition depends on the operation, it takes a different part, different role. Okay, for example this is what A power n, but A power n, since the operation is plus, we are rewriting it as NA. Okay, okay, that is very important thing. Now let's see, let's consider what is the order of the element 1 in a field F. Okay, now we just saw that every field has an element 1, and since F comma plus is an abelian group, 1 plus 1, so it is a group, if you add an element with itself you will get another element, so that this element 1 plus 1, that is what we call 2. Okay, 1 plus 1 equal to 2, that is again belongs to F. 1 plus 1 plus 1, that element equal to 3. Okay, so this way you can keep construct many numbers. So if order of 1 is finite, then what is the meaning of if order of 1 is finite? If order of 1 is finite, then you cannot keep going like this, because if order of an element is finite, then if you add that element with itself some n times, you will get 0. Okay, so it will stop. If order of 1 is infinite, then it will go for ever. This sequence is won't terminate. Now if order of 1 is finite, we call finite characteristic. The F field is said to be finite characteristic. If order of 1 is infinite, we call the field has 0 characteristic. Okay, okay, let's continue. So basically characteristic is nothing but order of the element 1. If the order of the element is finite, we say finite characteristic. The field is finite characteristic. If order of 1 is infinite, then we call the field is infinite characteristic. We're going to see many examples. So now in the finite characteristic, we will prove that if F is a field and the characteristic is finite, then the characteristic will be a prime number. Okay, so in particular, if in a field, if the order of the element 1 is finite, then the order has to be a prime number. Okay, that we will prove next. So basically you have 1, 1 plus 1 2, you have 3, you have up to p minus 1 you have, but when you add p times, you will get 0 if the characteristic is p. If order of 1 is p, then before p you will not get 0 at all by the definition of the order, When you add 1 with itself for p times, you will get 0. Okay, so basically if p times, if you add 0, then if you add p plus 1 times, you will again get 1. P plus 2 times, again you will get 2, because first p times will be 0, then remaining times you will get again 1 2 3, again it will go till p minus 1, again 0, and it will keep going. Okay, so basically in the, if the characteristic is finite, so this is this sequence 1 1 plus 1 1 plus 1 plus 1, you will have only p minus 1 elements. This is 1, this is 2 3, p minus 1 times if you add, you will get p minus 1. Then we add 0 also. Okay, then so this sequence, this set of elements will give us n number of n elements, and one can prove that in if the characteristic is finite, if the order of the element 1 is finite, this elements, this p elements form a subfield of the field f. Okay, so it is a field with p elements, and clearly it is isomorphic to zp. Okay, so what we have proved is, if the, if order of 1 is finite, then this 1 1 plus 1 1 plus 1 plus 1 etc., this will give us this p elements. Okay, and this p elements will be form a subfield. Therefore if the characteristic of a field f is finite, and it is equal to a prime number p, then inside f you can find a subfield isomorphic to zp. Okay, so if the characteristic is a prime number, then zp will be a subfield. This is called a prime subfield. Similarly, if the characteristic is 0, characteristic 0 means that the order of the element 1 is infinite. Order of the element is infinite, 1 is infinite means this sequence 1 1 plus 1 1 plus 1 plus 1, it will keep going. It won't 1 added with itself cannot be 0. So 1 2 3, you can keep adding 4 5 6, you will get all the numbers. Okay, now the inverse of 1, that will be minus 1. Minus 1 plus additive inverse of 1 is what we call minus 1. Now minus 1 plus minus 1 is minus 2. Minus 1 plus minus 1 plus minus 1, you get minus 3. So you get all the integers 1 2 3, you are getting minus 1 minus 2 minus 3, you get all the negative integers. 0 is already an element of the field, so you get z subset of f. Okay, why we got z? Since order of 1 is infinite, this sequence doesn't stop. Here order of 1 is finite, so this sequence stops here. You got 0 here, you get only finitely many elements in the prime subfield. Okay, if the characteristic is finite, you get only finitely many elements in the prime subfield. If the characteristic is 0, you get infinitely many elements. Okay, now you got z inside f, but f is a field, so every non-zero element will have a multiplicative inverse. So f comma dot is a abelian group, therefore every element has an inverse. So if you take consider inverse of all the elements inside z, basically you will get q. Okay, so so inverse of 2 will be 1 by 2. If you add 1 by 2 with itself 3 times, you get 3 by 2. So that way you can generate all the rational numbers. So what we conclude is q is a subfield of f. Okay, so if the characteristic is 0, or in other words, if the order of the element 1 is infinite, then the field q will always be a subfield of your field f. This q is called the prime subfield of the field f. Okay, so this prime subfield, if f has characteristic 0, the prime subfield will be field of rational numbers. If the field f has a finite characteristic, and that we going to prove that if it is a finite characteristic, it will be a prime number only. If that prime number is p, then the prime subfield will be zp. Okay, so in principle every field has either zp or as a q as a subfield always. That is a very important thing. If the characteristic is finite, you will have zp. If the characteristic is 0, you get a q as a subfield. Okay, so prime subfields are very important. You can see some problems related to prime subfield in the CSIR problems. So let's continue. Now there is a uh, Okay, there is a problem regarding the additive groups of field with the finite characteristic. So we take let A be a non-zero element of the field F. We assume that characteristic of F is a prime number P. Okay, this implies order of the element 1 is P. Or in other words, if you add 1 with itself for P times, you will get 0. Now I take A, I add A with itself for P times. Okay. This is equal to A into 1 plus 1 plus 1 etc. P times. Okay. Because in each of them you take A common, you get 1 plus 1 plus and so on. But 1 plus 1 plus 1, if I add P times, you will get 0. So A times 0, 0. Okay. So we conclude that if you add A with itself for P times, you get 0. Okay. In group theory, one important result is if A power n equal to E, then it doesn't mean that order of A is n. It just means that order of A divides n. Okay. So now what we have got A power P equal to identity. That's what we got. Because in the additive group, identity element is 0. In the additive group, A power P means A added with itself P times. Right. So we got A power P equal to E. Because A added with the A itself for P times, we are getting 0. So this means that A power P equal to identity. So by this result, order of the element A divides P. But P is a prime number. Therefore, this number order of A should be either 1 or P. But order of an element is 1 if and only if it is an identity element. But we are taking the identity element is 0 for addition, but we are taking non-zero element A. Okay. Therefore, we conclude that order of A is P. Okay. Therefore, in a, if the characteristic of a field is a prime number P, then every element, every non-zero element has order P. Okay. So if the characteristic is P, then it doesn't mean, it's not just mean that one has order P, it also means that every non-zero element has order P. Okay. Therefore, F comma plus, it is a group in which every element has order P. Okay. Therefore, we conclude that if if F is a finite field, suppose if F is finite, then we have F comma plus should is isomorphic to ZP cross etc. ZP k times. Why? Because you have a finite abelian group. Because F comma plus is an abelian group in which every non-zero element has order P. Okay, then that that group has to be isomorphic to product of ZP. So this is a simple exercise. You try to prove by yourself. So G is a finite group. A belongs to non-identity element. Suppose order of A equal to P for all A not equal to E, then G is isomorphic to ZP power K for some K. ZP power K means ZP cross ZP cross ZP K times. Okay, we have to take finite, you take abelian group, I am not, okay, finite abelian group. You take a finite abelian group, you assume that order of A equal to P for all A not equal to E, then G is isomorphic to ZP power K. Okay, it is a simple exercise tried by yourself. Okay, therefore, this is we in particular, this group is not a cyclic group. Okay, why? Zn cross Zn is cyclic if and only if M and N are relatively prime. Okay, or we just proved that in this group every element has order P, but this is a group of order P power K if there are K factors, right? Therefore, there is no element of order P power K, therefore this group is not cyclic. Okay, so we conclude that additive group of a finite field need not be cyclic. Okay, because only if K equal to 1, in that case we will have only one ZP, in that case additive group will be cyclic. Otherwise, additive group of a finite field need not be cyclic. This is one of a very important problem. Many times as one of the option in CSA problems it is asked. True or false kind of questions like additive group of a which of the following statements are wrong. Additive group of a finite field is cyclic. This is one of the options. So it is a wrong statement. Okay. Next, we come to the very important uh, part of this video. So, I was preparing a few problems related to Galva groups asked in the CSR problem. Then I need these results regarding characteristic and the prime field. So I thought I'll make that separate video on this. So next video I'll put on the problems on Galva groups and field extensions, all those things. So now for those problems, the result what we're going to see is very important. So let me say, so we take F to be a field, then and F naught to be a prime subfield of F. Okay. So in particular, if F is a finite characteristic, then this F naught will be ZP. If F has characteristic 0, then F naught will be Q. That's what we saw. And I take an automorphism of the field F. Okay. Then we claim that so this is not what we are claiming. We are claiming more. Then we claim that sigma of x equal to x for all x belongs to f naught. That means that every point of the prime subfield is fixed by all the automorphisms of f. Okay, that is what we are claiming. So let's prove it. Suppose characteristic of f is a prime number. Now, if it is therefore the f naught will be the prime subfield will consist of 0, 1 up to p minus 1. These many elements. Now, if it is a field automorphism, it will take the element 1 to the element 1. So we get 1 goes to 1, sigma of 0 equal to 0. These two we got for free. So already these two elements are fixed. But we claim that all these points are fixed by the field automorphism sigma. Okay, now we see what is sigma of 2. Sigma of 2 is sigma of 1 plus 1, that is equal to sigma of 1 plus sigma of 1. But what is sigma of 1? It is 1. So 1 plus 1 you got 2. Therefore sigma of 2 also 2. Similarly sigma of 3 equal to 3 and sigma of p minus 1 equal to p minus 1. Okay. So all these elements in the prime subfield is fixed by all the automorphism of the field F. So for characteristic F equal to P, then the proof is done. So we assume characteristic F equal to 0. So again sigma of 0 equal to 0, sigma of 1 equal to 1, since it is automorphism. Now sigma of 2 equal to 2, sigma of n equal to n for all n belongs to n. Again the same argument. Okay. Now sigma of minus 1 equal to minus sigma of 1. Why? Because if f from group G to G is a group homomorphism, then f of A inverse equal to f of A the whole inverse. If G is an additive group, then f of A inverse will be minus A. Okay, therefore f of minus A equal to minus f of A. That's what you will get. So by using this result, sigma of minus 1 equal to minus sigma 1, which is equal to minus 1, because sigma of 1 equal to 1. So sigma of minus 1 equal to minus 1. So now if characteristic of f equal to 0, we claim that sigma of x equal to x for all x belongs to q, because now the prime subfield is q. Okay. So first we prove that all the integers are fixed by the automorphism, arbitrary automorphism sigma. Then we will prove that the fractions also fixed. So now, I mean 0 is fixed, 1 is fixed, 2 is fixed, all the positive integers are fixed. The argument is the same argument. Now negative numbers also fixed. Sigma of minus 2 equal to sigma of minus 1 plus minus 1. Then sigma of minus 1 plus sigma of minus 1. But sigma of minus 1 is minus 1. So minus 1 plus minus 1 minus 2. So we conclude that sigma of minus equal to minus n. Similarly, for all n belongs to n. Therefore, sigma of x equal to x for all x belongs to integers. That's what we conclude here. Now I take an arbitrary fraction, rational number m by n. This can be written as m by n means 1 by n added with itself for m times. Okay. Now sigma is an automorphism. Therefore, it respects addition. So we can break it sigma of 1 by n plus etc. sigma of 1 by n m times. But 1 by n is n inverse, right? N inverse is the simple notation for 1 by n. So inverse of n with respect to multiplication is what 1 by n. Since sigma is an homomorphism with respect to multiplication also, we get sigma of n is equal to sigma of n the whole inverse. Okay, now sigma of n is n. Therefore, sigma of n inverse will be n inverse. Again m times. If there is m times here, this here also m times. So n inverse plus etc. n inverse m times, it is 1 by n plus etc. 1 by n m times. We get same as m by n. Okay. Therefore, sigma of m by n is also m by n. So we conclude that sigma of x equal to x for all x belongs to Q. Okay. Okay. So what we have proved is we have proved that any automorphism of a field F fixes its prime field.